No rain this time, and David Rudiman is no longer a one-time winner. He said he had a shot at the chase, and tonight the 00 showed us why. Now we see again that nice guys certainly can finish first. It had been 42 races since that rain-shortened victory at the Coke 600 in Charlotte, but now David Rudiman is back in victory lane. Hello everybody and welcome to NASCAR Victory Lane, fueled by Sunoco from the Chicagoland Speedway. And boy, what a great story when you looked up and down the top five. Each one of those drivers in the top five towards the end of this race had a shot at giving us a real good story tonight. A lot of those guys have been denied victory lane for a long time, but guys, we're gonna say it several times throughout this show, so I'm gonna go ahead and say it again. Nice guys can finish first.
You're exactly right, JR. I mean, again, this guy didn't just walk into this by accident. He drove his way up through there. He outran some of the best of the guys, and the best. When he went around that 24 car, he made a believer out of us. We sitting there watching that race. It's like, go, David, go.
This is big for the sport because we always say to ourselves, who is going to be the next person to arrive? What team? Michael Waltrip Racing is the newest one on the block. Yes, this 00 car won a rain-short race, but when you say, who's the new team that's going to win? You know, Earnhardt Ganassi, yes, they've been around for a while, but the new team has arrived. Michael Waltrip Racing, the first team in a long time, Jeff, to put a W, a new team.
Yeah, new team. But the thing is right now, I think what's impressive, Kenny, more than anything else, is the fact that, you know, we keep talking about a guy like David Rudiman. He's always won in any other form of racing he's ever driven in. He's one of those kind of mild-mannered type of guys you think, well, you know, he just doesn't really have the fire that you would like to see maybe in a race car driver. But everybody knows he's a great guy. He will race you fair. He will race you hard. You give him a good race car like Roddy Childers did tonight, this is the result you get, JR.
And had you watched NASCAR Race Hub earlier this week, you would have heard Pat Trison from Michael Waltrip Racing say that Toyota Racing Development had found some more, here comes Rudy, they had found some more horsepower in these engines, and it certainly paid off.
I cannot tell you and express enough how big of a night this is. I got goosebumps all over my arm. This is one of the biggest wins in just years in this sport, because like I've always said, you're waiting for that next person. David Rudiman, we call him Rudy. What a legendary family history. His dad, Buzzy Rudiman, winner at the Syracuse on the mild dirt. He's here every week. We make jokes. You know, is he building his dad a new dirt car? I bet his dad, Buzzy, will get some new dirt cars after this big win.
I think right now that's what's going to be important, is that Buzzy Rudiman right now is here with David Rudiman like he is every week. To me, this is going to be probably a bigger win even than one he got in Charlotte.
Now, do you gentlemen know why Buzzy and David Rudiman run 00s on the side of their race car?
I do not.
That was the balance in their checking account every time they went to the race when they were growing up racing on dirt. That's why they run the 00. But you know what? There's going to be a lot of zeros on the other side of the decimal point after this win tonight for this group.
And you know what? Having fun here on our Victory Lane show, Jeff Hammond. I noticed this was the first week David Rudiman took the old razor and he scalloped his sideburns, and I noticed it this week, and I said, why is
It's a facial hair victory.
Hey, look at it. Look at Rudy. He never does anything like that, and he's that's pretty wild.
Hey, you know what he told me the other day?
What?
It's all about attitude.
He's got an attitude.
I mean, you know how you got your attitude?
Oh, yeah.
He's got an attitude now, folks. He has now got himself kind of cleaned up here. I bet you he doesn't shave till December. If he saves it all.
Yeah, now a little later on in the show, we're going to break down the points and where they stand. But in Wendy Venturini's interview with David not too long ago, he said, we do have a shot at this chase. They believe it, and they believe it legitimately, and now they've made a huge step towards that.
Well, you know, somebody opened the door tonight. We'll talk about it later. But Greg Biffle had problems. You know, he's down there around that 9th through 12th in the points. So we'll look at the points later on, check it out. But the Biff had problems tonight. Does that open the door, Jeff Hammond, for somebody else?
I think it does, because I think tonight showed that there's still a lot of guys that don't necessarily got their act totally together. I mean, we saw our point leader have trouble, JR, along with Jimmy Johnson. I mean, some of these guys that we weren't expecting to come here and have problems, well, they had some problems. But the main thing is David Rudiman did what he could do. He did all he could do to get all the points he could here tonight and let people know we're a real race team. We can get in this chase, and now you got to start watching out for that 00.
And now David Rudiman is in the 15th position in points, just 96 points out of the 12th position. So you got to know these guys are happy tonight. They have a lot to cheer about, this entire organization, and we'll talk to them when we come back to NASCAR Victory Lane, fueled by Sunoco.
NASCAR Victory Lane is fueled by Sunoco, the official fuel of NASCAR. Put the fuel of NASCAR in your car. Brought to you in part by eHarmony. Are you ready to fall in love? And by Comfort Inn. After a long day of vacation, relax with Comfort Inn.
Race number 19 of the 2010 season is in the history books, and a little personal history has come forward for David Rudiman as he now is closer to getting into the chase and also has another victory that is not rain shortened. Let's take you back in time to back when the green flag waved under beautiful conditions at Chicagoland Speedway. Boy, what a beautiful afternoon and evening for the LifeLock.com 400. And as we go down on the racetrack here, you see Jamie McMurray with his third pole of the season. Looked like he was going to be a factor early in this race because starting up front here is a good thing.
Well, I always think it's interesting when the pole sitter picks the front row outside, and you're thinking, okay, is, our four-time champion going to challenge him for the lead? And he does early, Jeff.
He really does here, but I think it showed a lot about what this track had tonight. Had a lot of grip. We see some three-wide racing earlier on, 24, the 99, and the 42 right there, putting on a really good show here at Chicagoland.
Gentlemen, I know we all believe that it's good to hear that things get better with age, and this racetrack is getting better with age.
Oh, it's a groovy racetrack. Now, what's great about this, okay, you see the 00, who's the leader, the 56, he finishes 11th night. Now, the 42 on the outside of the 16th, we're thinking, okay, Roush Racing says, hey, we're better. So Earnhardt Ganassi and Roush Racing going at it right here.
So this is a very rare mistake you see from Jimmy Johnson trying to pit, goes in a little bit too hot, and Jeff, he doesn't make it.
No, he knew all of a sudden, I can't get down where I need to get and make sure I don't hit that commit cone right there. And so he made the best choice. He was leading the race, had a big lead, and he wound up giving the lead to Jamie McMurray. And eventually now he came back and was able to challenge for that lead.
Now, that was very costly, but let's see how good Martin Truex Jr.'s memory is here. Remember how mad he was at Jeff Gordon after Sonoma? And to see these two guys together on the racetrack, well, that had to make some fans nervous.
Well, and the thing about Jeff Gordon, he'll just stick his old left hand out there and go, come on, wreck me. Jeff.
Careful what you asked for.
Yeah, but I'm going to tell you what Jeff Hammond, Jeff Gordon has done it in the past. Bring it on. Give him what he has given you. And, the 56 just goes ahead and says, it ain't worth it. I've got a good run going tonight.
Yeah, but I think right now, Jim, what he was trying to do is let him know, I can do this to you, young man. Don't forget me. I'm not done yet. So, I mean, he gave one of his very friendly reminders.
I agree.
In the grand scheme of things, the pit miscue by Jimmy Johnson was not that bad. Here he goes battling the #1 of Jamie McMurray, but we have to warn you, this night would turn south for Jimmy Johnson, and south in a hurry. You don't see this very often either. There goes Jimmy Johnson. Still can't really tell exactly whether he made contact with the 56 or not.
Well, they paid me and Hammond to make a call. I say the 56 gets loose, pushes up or something like that. I've seen a lot of different views. I think the 56 hits the 48, spins him out by accident, but that's what I think happened.
It was a racing incident, but how about the 00, his teammate right there, to Martin Truex Jr. He is right in behind this accident, and he sneaks by barely, JR. That could have been very costly for Michael Waltrip Racing. He almost wrecked both of the race cars in the eventual winner.
You know what we say about being lucky and good? Well, you saw it right there. David Rudiman was good and had a little bit of luck as well. And we were pretty good on these double file restarts today.
Oh, look at this. I mean, right here, I'm thinking Jamie McMurray is going to challenge to win. Jamie McMurray finishes 5th tonight, but look at this. He scoots out on 4-time champ Jeff Gordon. I'm thinking he's pretty strong right now.
Pretty strong, but I'm still impressed with what we're going to see back here from the car as the #4 position. David Rudiman in behind his teammate. He's sitting right there. He's sizing everybody up, saying, you know what? I got a good race car. As soon as the air pressure comes up in these tires, I'm going to show you something.
And just how hungry is Jeff Gordon right now? He's in the midst of his longest losing streak of his career with going winless in this race here. And we see Jimmy Johnson scrub the outside wall, and things went south after that.
Well, looky here. This is why. He was really hard on this tire tonight, and you're losing grip. Things don't go good, and then we got a pit stop and get some new rubber on.
Losing grip.
Kind of a scary incident here with Bill Elliott sliding first down the racetrack and then up at Robbie Gordon with nowhere to go. Hits really hard, and those two cars were clearly done for the evening.
And you're wanting to know right now, the biggest question this week is why didn't Robbie Gordon just go right or left? Race fans, when you're running 180, 190 mile an hour, you don't go right, you don't go left. You're driving these cars in a constant slide. It's incredible talent, but he just couldn't make a move. He just
couldn't make a move right there. But speaking of making a move or busting a move, how about this 24 car, JR, on that restart?
He had what you call some get up and go on that restart as he pulled away and pulled out to a big lead, but we still had a lot of racing left to go among some very strong cars that were at the front of the field. And take a look at the double zeros. He keeps on making his move and keeps on putting himself in a position to eventually win.
You know, one thing, Jeff, you as a crew chief, now it's officially dark. So the speed's picking up on the racetrack, and here comes the double zero.
I think what happened here, Rodney Childers did such a great job of keeping up with this racetrack changing. Again, remember now, David Rudiman, he didn't run the entire nationwide race on Saturday night, but he did have a little bit of experience in there. He may have been able to help his crew chief get an idea what this racetrack was doing. And when it came time, he started challenging our leader, the 24 of Jeff Gordon, and they went at it. I mean, JR, we sat up there in the office. We watched him for a long time wondering, when's this double zero going to pass the 24? He just kept worrying him, and finally, he drove it off in there, slid up in front of that 24 car, and guess what? See you later.
Yeah, and he's not battling a bobsled up there, Kenny. He's battling Jeff Gordon.
Hey, what I like of what David Rudiman did, he adjusted his line. Instead of staying on the bottom the whole time, he said, okay, I'm going to go into turn one. I'm going to run high with Jeff Gordon, and then he made his pass. So he adjusted his line, made the pass, just great driving.
It's a little bit of trouble here for one of your championship contenders, the Biff, Greg Biffle, engine trouble in the number 16. That's a sad sight to see.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, Kenny was talking about opening the door. The 16 opened the door for somebody to come up there and gain some points on him. This is not what Roush Fenway wants to see. New FR9 engine. All right, they've had 2 failures now, one in the 9, now one in the 16.
And this is part failure, what we're talking about. You know, the team's not going to lose the race. It's going to be part failure, and there you go.
So you had to imagine what was going through David Rudiman's mind. Every possible bad scenario in the world, green, white checkers, debris caution, but it simply didn't happen as a double zero comes around to take the checkered flag, second win of his career. He breaks a 42-race winless streak, and after that rain-shortened victory at Charlotte, this one is for real. It is for real. Let's take a look at the results of LifeLock.com 400 with David Rudiman winning, and a great finish for Carl Edwards, who needed one badly.
Yeah, you know, and these are contenders. I think the 2 drivers that stand out to me are, of course, the winner, David Rudiman, and 10th spot also, Paul Menard.
Well, to me, when I'm looking out there, I still say Casey Kane made another good move tonight, gained a lot more valuable points trying to get himself back in that chase.
Not a bad run for Matt Kenseth or A.J. Allmendinger. Mark Martin and Juan Pablo Montoya had a little bit of bumper banging going on after this race. Like to hear the story behind that.
Brad Keselowski has a good finish for Dodge. I think that's the top finish in Dodge of the night.
And now we see Elliott Sadler in the 21st position. Dale Earnhardt Jr. P23.
Well, we talk about 2 guys, you said the 23rd position, Dale Earnhardt Jr., as well as Ryan Newman. This is not going to help their cause from making the chase.
Bobby Labonte, not too bad, 29th for a start and park team that is now racing with Bobby in the car.
On back in the field we go. We see Bill Elliott and Robbie Gordon, who had that scary accident. Glad to say that both those guys were okay after that. Landon Castle in the 71. Then we have Mears in the 36. And Kevin Harvick in the 34th. And the Biff back there in the 35th position. You don't usually see that.
But the thing is right now, when you mentioned Kevin Harvick, that, again, was a part issue. All the rest of the Richard Childress cars ran extremely well all night long, but fortunately for Kevin Harvick, that did not hurt him. He's still leading the points, JR.
Here's where the rubber hits the road. That cost him approximately 100 points from Jeff Gordon. Jeff is now within 103. But you know, when you get down to those positions right there, it is all about the wins. Kurt Busch still 5th in points after somewhat of a disappointing night.
And you fans are saying, where is Dale Jr.? He's back to 13th again. This is agonizing on all the fans.
David Rudiman is up 2 positions, 96 out of the chase. And remember, now we have 7 races to go. That is enough time to make up 96 points.
Well, I think the biggest thing is we keep saying for the 3rd time tonight, part failure. 100 points cost Kevin Harvick tonight. That's incredible.
And so it is very rare that we see anything but parts failures affect these teams. Sometimes it's mistakes, but in this case, it was a perfect night by the double zero. David Rudiman joins us next. Well, the only rain this time for David Rudiman was the champagne that was flowing in Victory Lane. Welcome back, everyone, to NASCAR Victory Lane, fueled by Sunoco. And now I guess it's safe to say that David Rudiman is the reigning champion of the LifeLock.com 400. David, welcome, man.
Been working on that.
Yeah, well, it just kind of happens. But, man, it is so great to see the smiles on the faces of your whole organization over there, from where you guys were a couple years ago to having it be gut-wrenching just to make these races. Now here you are back in Victory Lane for the second time.
Yeah, and you know, like you said, there was no rain involved in this time, but it feels great, man. I don't even know. I'm just in awe the way the whole night went. The car just kept getting better and better, and the worst we were was that last run. We were really, really free, and I talked to Herm there, and he said, you know, you could see, you guys can look in there, and you know, little wiggles are a lot bigger inside the car than you would think, but I had a great Tums Toyota, and really happy for my guys, along with Best Western and Aaron's, and you know, I'd hate to bring this up, but I'm going to have to, guys. The last race I won, Darrell Waltrip gave me a Rolex, and I think that should be a trend.
Yes.
I really feel like it should.
A Rolex from a Waltrip.
Yeah, absolutely.
No matter which
I don't
one.
care which Waltrip. I'm just saying, but you know, getting in DW's pocket would feel really, really good. I'd like to get in his wallet. That'd be good stuff right there.
I think I would agree with you, but I think you're going to have a hard time getting it out of him. Can you get it out of his brother, though? That's going to be the key.
I may could talk to Miss Stevie. I don't know. I think she's got a hand on the cash. But I mean, just Toyota Racing Development and everybody at Michael Waltrip Racing, man, what an awesome car. You know, good pit stops. Rodney Childers just making great calls. Dax Garinger, our team engineer, just what a phenomenal job all night long. Just a total team effort, and it feels great.
David, I made mention earlier that you're the first. This is the first new team to win. You know, we've watched Jamie McMurray win, but with established teams. To me, unless somebody proves me wrong, you're the first new team to win in NASCAR in ages.
Well, I mean, it feels you know, feels really good. We are a very new team. We're still a very young team. So, again, Michael Waltrip Racing and Michael Waltrip as an individual, a guy that gave a guy that wasn't 18 years old an opportunity to go race a Cup car, and it felt really, really good.
We were looking at it earlier. Your battle between the 24 of Jeff Gordon and you, I mean, how huge was that? Because, again, it looks like you could drive right up to him, but you just couldn't quite clear him. You kept working him. I mean, it was a great battle right there between you two.
Yeah, the guys kept telling me on the radio, say, keep working him, he'll make a mistake. I said, what are you kidding me? It's Jeff Gordon. You know? And it was just, we battled back and forth. But, I mean, you know, finally we were able to get past him and get out for a pretty good lead. And one of the coolest things ever is after the race, you know, Jeff Gordon comes over and congratulates you in Victory Lane. That's really, really special.
I saw Carl Edwards come over.
Yeah, Carl Edwards as well.
A lot of guys coming over there.
Carl come over and said, you were sandbagging, weren't you? I was like, what are you kidding me? With Carl Edwards behind you, nobody sandbags. You got to go as hard as you can.
Hey, David, we had heard earlier in the week that you had said, when asked, you know, do you have a shot at this chase? And you said legitimately, yes, we do. Now, we don't want to go too far and speak too soon, but you guys have made great strides in this week and moved up close enough to where you're really within striking distance.
Yeah, I said, you know, top fives and top tens were the only thing that was going to do it, and that's basically enabled us to claw back from 30th spot where we'd fallen to where we are now. So we still got our work cut out for us. I mean, this is just one race, but the only way you're going to gain points is to go out there and win, and that's you know, that's what we were able to do tonight.
Okay, Rudy, time to have fun. What's going on here with?
Yeah, was this a facial hair win?
But it's not an official beard. It looks like you're trimming. What's going on?
Well, Kenny, it takes me about a month to even get this going. So I'm just kind of letting it go there, and I don't know what I'm trying to do. Most people do this stuff during the winter, right, Hammond? If you're a hunter or something like that, and when it's not 100 degrees out, you grow that. And for me, for some reason, I just decided to try it, and maybe I think it's going to have to stay for a while now.
But David, the thing is, right now you were hunting. You were hunting Victory Lane.
We were hunting hard.
You have now bagged your big game. and I told him before we came on there, we were talking about it shows a little bit of attitude.
Yeah.
It shows you can be a bad guy too, man, if I have to be.
Well, I think it's going to take more than this to make me look like a bad guy. But, you know, at least we got a head start on it.
Do you have a mean face? Let me see.
I don't know.
Mean.
Yeah, kind of snarl a little bit.
There you go.
That's all I got. That's about all I got. I don't have
I want one thing. We showed in the highlights, guys. You remember this. When the 48 car got spun around, you were right in behind the 56, and when that happened, did you kind of like say, oh, no, there it goes?
Yeah, well, I thought, you know, we were all nose to tail, and, you know, nose to tail, you can't see what's in front of you basically there. And I couldn't figure out why the 56 was checking up. I was like, Martin, what are you doing, you know?
Yeah.
And what happened was, you know, I didn't realize that those two guys were kind of together, and I about ran over him, and I think whoever's behind me about got into us. Just that situation where you're turned, you're on fresh tires, you're back wide open in the gas, you know, you're not really expecting that kind of stuff to happen. And that was really, really a close call. It could have really got us in big trouble.
Hey, David, we want to show you something. The reaction of your owner, Michael Waltrip, when he was watching from afar in Iowa, couldn't be here, but there's Mikey watching the race on the monitor from Iowa. Do you think he's
awesome.
happy?
Yeah, I think Mikey, he called me, on his phone for Victory Lane, and that guy's done a lot for me. I mean, he has done so much for me, and again, he gave me the opportunity to go cup racing when not a soul I heard would have done that, and I owe him a lot.
Well, that's pretty cool. And, David, it's a tradition we have here on Victory Lane. We have the winner sign a Sunoco Victory Lane flag.
All right, we can do that.
Got a pen there? We need a pen for him.
Here we go. Here's a Sharpie.
There's the pen.
There's a Sharpie. Let's help.
That's big.
Congratulations to David Rudiman. And each week here on NASCAR Victory Lane, fueled by Sunoco, one lucky fan will receive a Sunoco checkered flag autographed by the winner of the race. Enter online at speedtv.com, keyword Sunoco, to win the flag that David Rudiman is signing right now. More reaction from Chicago when we come back.
Oh, I'm glad it's over.
Yes, the car is wet again this time, but it's not from rain. It's from champagne for David Rudiman and company. Welcome back, everyone, to NASCAR Victory Lane, fueled by Sunoco. It takes an entire team to put together a victory. And crew chief Rodney Childers is with us now. And, Rodney, when you look back at where this team has come from, I mean, you joined later than the beginning of this whole thing, but when you look back to the day when David Rudiman used to just sweat making these races on Fridays, they were gut-wrenching for him as a go-or-go-home car. And now you guys are here with a win that wasn't rain-delayed. I mean, there's nothing anybody can say about this one. It was a big day for Michael Waltrip Racing.
Yeah, it was. And as far as the company in general, it has come a long way in a short period of time. But the past 2 years have just been a lot of fun, and can't thank Michael enough for the opportunity, and David, and just got a great group of guys, and we all get along and have fun and win races, and it's been a lot of fun.
Your guys on pit road, including yourself, performed, I mean, this like champions, because you made the right calls at the right time. How difficult was it to keep up with the track? And again, you're getting a little bit nervous when you knew you were racing that 24 car, because that's what was going to come down to, making green flag stops and your guys performing.
Yeah, all the guys did a good job. Our jackman actually had a bike accident this week and had a concussion and couldn't jack the car, so we had a few things going on there, and we lost a couple spots every now and then, but all in all, they did a good job, and everybody kept their heads on straight, and when you've got a good car like that, it's easy to make calls, and you don't have to take chances and stuff like that. But David did an awesome job and just had an awesome car.
Rodney, we make such a big deal on TV and in the media that, okay, here you are in the sun, and now, we're at night. But that's when you showed up. When the sun was out, you were running 4th and 5th, and when it got nighttime, you took the lead. Was that a coincidence, or did you adjust on the car?
No, I actually told David that all week and yesterday during practice, and it was the same deal at Charlotte, and to tell you the truth, our setup tonight wasn't much different than Charlotte, and we had a car that could have won the race at Charlotte, and we were just a little off on the engine program, but those guys, poured it to it this weekend and brought us a lot of horsepower, and can't thank all those guys in California enough. They put a lot of hours in and a lot of hard work, and that's really what made the difference tonight.
And, Rodney, we had heard over the past couple of weeks that the Toyota engine from TRD was down on horsepower and that there was something that happened this week. I guess when something like that happens, that certainly gives you a better attitude coming into the race weekend.
Yeah, it does. And you can't take anything away from those guys. They work really hard, and there's been plenty of times we had the most power of anybody out there, and the car wasn't very good. So it just takes the right day, and everything's got to come together. And Ray told me a few years ago, you just got to knock on the door and then hope that it opens for you. So it happened tonight. It was a lot of fun.
And you're talking about Ray Evernham, one of the guys you work for, probably one of the best guys in the business as far as crew chiefs are concerned. But I always learned a long time ago, the best handling race cars you've ever seen are down the straightaway. I'm telling you right now, when you got that power under the hood, it makes your job a whole lot easier.
Yeah, it does. And like I said, those guys have worked really hard, and we had a lot of power at the beginning of the year, and we had a few races that we had problems. So they had to do what they had to do to make sure that we made it to the end of races, and they were smart about it, and they've worked hard, and they've got it back.
Rodney, congratulations, man. Great job on a big win for Michael Waltrip Racing.
Thank y'all. I appreciate it.
Good job.
That's crew chief Rodney Childers. Want to remind you fans that one of the most popular sponsor promos is going on right now, and it is continuing. It's Toyota Sponsor Fire 2. Toyota Racing Sponsor Fire 2 is backed by popular demand with new features and new prizes. Visit toyotaracing.com, click on it, design it, and enter it. When we come back, we will hear from owner Michael Waltrip on this huge victory for his organization. Stay with us, everyone. You can call this win a true family affair for the Rudeman family as they continue to celebrate. Welcome back, everyone, to NASCAR Victory Lane, fueled by Sunoco. Now, if you're tuning in for Wind Tunnel with Dave Despain, it's coming your way in a half hour from now. But right now, this is NASCAR Victory Lane on speed, and we're celebrating yet another win for Michael Waltrip Racing, the second for David Rudeman. And owner Michael Waltrip is busily working in Iowa doing 2 races for speed this weekend, and he is kind enough to join us now. And Mikey, we've been talking so far in this show about how it wasn't really that long ago that David Rudeman was standing on the pit lane in qualifying day and just having that gut-wrenching feeling about even making a race, and now here he is with 2 victories.
Yeah, his car owner was standing right beside him trying to make races as well, so I gave him a lot of support. He's done so many special things for our family, winning a truck race for my brother Daryl, winning in the Aaron's car in the Nationwide Series, getting the Coca-Cola 600 win for us. I love David Rudeman. I love what he's all about, and his family, Buzz, everybody. I'm so happy for them.
Mikey, when you put a team together, some people go for established drivers. You went for David Rudeman. How did you come about saying, hey, I'm going to hire this guy to drive my Cup car?
We just looked around and loved his attitude. You know, he wanted to race. He didn't care what we paid him. He didn't care what we asked him to do. Just let him race. And he was a perfect fit for Aaron's. You know, I had driven the Aaron's car for 7 or 8 years, and we had established a really good relationship with those folks. And I told him, I said, I promise you, David will continue to do that kind of job for you. They accepted him, and it made for a great choice for our organization. And just to know him today, he's exactly the same dude as he was 4 or 5 years ago when we hired him, and to see him celebrate a win like tonight, you know, his first one, there's an asterisk by it somewhat, and every time someone would mention it, you'd see that look on his face, how he always goes, you know, you look like Stevie Wonder. But tonight he's able to smile because he jumped on him and he won the race in dominating fashion at the end.
Michael, you talk about your organization, and tonight, I mean, David Rudeman won the race, but your 56 car also ran very well. I mean, and you talk about your structure. Bobby Kennedy, I saw him in Victory Lane, Ty Norris, Cal Wells. This whole Michael Waltrip organization is starting to really show some muscle.
Well, Steve Hallam, Nick Hughes, the crew chiefs, everybody at MWR just works so well together, Jeff. I think if you came by the shop, you would see just a wonderful atmosphere. It's a great place to work. People enjoy working there. When I started Michael Waltrip Racing, I wanted it to be built in the shadow of the way that Dale Earnhardt built Dale Earnhardt Incorporated. You know, when I went to drive for Dale, he would walk around the shop, and I could just see it in people's eyes. They were like, we want to build cars for Dale Earnhardt because that's the man. He's Dale. We want to make sure his cars are better than other people's. And, you know, I think the guys and girls that work at MWR know the commitment that I've made. I've raced for 25 years, and everything I got is right there in those 4 walls in Cornelius. And so they've made it really, they're striving to make MWR the best team in the garage area, and I think we're making some good ground. Obviously, tonight was a great night. Happy birthday to Charlie Loudermilk. He owns Aaron's. He's the guy that has made this team, helped us build this team, so today's his birthday. Tums was on the car tonight. I must have ate about a jar of those things those last 30 or 40 laps while I was watching Dave. You ought to have seen all the stuff I was doing. I was popping Tums, trying to call an ARCA race here in Iowa, and then watching David on the TV as well. It was crazy over here. I don't even know why I'm here. I should be there, but I love speed. They asked me to come over to Iowa, and man, this place is beautiful, and I'm all wound up, as you can tell.
Yeah, but that's good, Mikey. That's awesome. You know, hey, as a race car driver, we always want the most horsepower we can get. So this week, you know, everybody was talking about the Toyota horsepower. Can you tell us what transpired? What was that all about, and where did we find the horsepower for this winter tonight?
Well, we've been a little bit off, but man, we've been working hard. We had some trouble early in the season, and Toyota regrouped. They said, we'll have you some power by Indy. We said we need it by Chicago, and they come up with a solution to gain us some horsepower, and tonight it obviously paid off. We still have a long way to go with our cars. They're not great everywhere, obviously. I think Toyota still has some ground they need to make under the hood, but when you have a really, really good driving race car, a great driver like David Rudiman, and then a motor that is better than what you're used to, sometimes that's just what you need to get yourself over the top.
Mikey, thank you so much for taking the time to join us tonight. Congratulations on a great team victory. And we do remind everybody that star or not, that is win number 2 for this car and your organization.
Can I say, yes?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm there with you.
Yes, you can.
Yes.
All right. Well, thanks to Michael Waldron for joining us, and congratulations to that team once again. When we come back, we will talk about the trouble for the number 48 team. 4-time, had about 4 spins tonight, and it was tough luck for the number 48 tonight. We'll talk about that when we come back. Welcome back, everyone, to NASCAR Victory Lane, fueled by Sunoco. We're coming to you from Victory Lane at the state-of-the-art new Chicagoland Speedway after 400 miles of interesting racing tonight. Somewhat of a surprise winner and somewhat of a surprise outcome for the number 48 team and driver Jimmie Johnson. You don't usually see them having trouble on the racetrack like they did tonight. He finished P25 rather. Let's hear what Jimmie had to say after the race.
Coming to pit road, I hit the brakes to slow down, and the car had a lot of her brake bias percentage in it, which I didn't expect to have, and I didn't have that my practice runs when I was trying to get to pit road. So I didn't expect the car to try to rotate around on the brakes coming to pit road like it did, and almost spun out. So I missed pit road that time. We recovered and got back to the one car, and you know, it's just kind of how it was. It wasn't a big deal. And then it's turned around on the back stretch. And then after that, we're coming up through the field, and I felt like we could still salvage, you know, a top 5 or something. And I cut a right front tire down, and then just got in the wall. And I think between sliding through the grass and touching the wall, it messed up the body, and the nose started dragging pretty bad there for the final run or two.
So that's the bad news for Jimmie Johnson and company. But here's the good news for Jimmie Johnson. He gets to go home and hold his new baby daughter.
Yes,
He doesn't have a name yet.
Baby J, we're
Baby
calling
J.
it.
But anyway, it's very odd to see that happen because, Jeff, the whole time, every time you see Jimmie Johnson have trouble and the 48 team have a little bit of trouble, you say, oh, don't worry, they're going to bounce back. They'll get a top 10.
And they will. But tonight they didn't quite get it that far back. But, you know, this is, again, it shows the fact, I think, that Jimmie Johnson and Chad Canals, they were very good all night long till they had that little issue coming down pit road, and he kind of like went downhill from there. Even though he fought his way back up through there, the car never was quite under him. I just wonder if he was trying a little too hard, and maybe they had something a little bit that they, you know, threw at it part of the way through the race that he didn't like. Because, again, when the 56 car got to him, whether they touched each other or not, around the 48 went. We've seen him do that several times, especially with this new rear spoiler.
And, Kenny, you always warn us on NASCAR race day. You always tell us that it's not going to be a human error that's going to cost these great teams trouble. And we saw it tonight. Mechanical error caused our points leader, Kevin Harvick, and the guy who won last week, to have some serious trouble.
You know what, race fans, when I look at these stats and I go 1 through 43, you know, that's how many cars start these races. There's like 20, almost 30 drivers that have won Sprint Cup races. Do you have any idea how hard that is to do? It's incredible. So I always say, look, it's going to be a part failure. It's going to be a flat tire. It's going to be somebody blowing a motor, taking another driver out in oil. Tonight was a perfect example. The 29 of Kevin Harvick. You know, he was our point leader, had over a 200-point lead when he left last week in Daytona. Boom, one race he has problem, he goes behind pit wall, and now he only has like a 100-point lead. So, and you know that these teams, when they get back, they have crazy people like metallurgists. They'll take the metal and they'll study it. So it gets pretty crazy. And that was pretty tough for me to say right there. Metallurgists. Have you ever heard of those?
Metallurgists.
Yeah, metallurgists. Yes, I have.
But they do have them, don't they?
Yeah, they do have those. But, you know, I think the one thing we don't want to lose sight of, Johnny, is that we get closer to the chase. And we only got this, you know, 7 races now before we start the chase, is that the bonus points that we keep talking about for the wins, that's important. Having that insurance to stay in the top 12, that's what's really important right now, is how big a lead have you got over the guy in 12th place, like what Kevin Harvick's got, like what Jeff Gordon or Jimmie Johnson's got. Because when it's all shaken up, once we realign everything at Richmond, you know, it's going to have a totally different look than what it does right now. So I think for the 48 car, even though they had problems tonight, for the 29 car, they had problems tonight. What they're looking forward to next week, or getting a week off to get kind of like rejuvenated, refocused, go to Indy, get a big win there, get back on track.
And just to tell you how quickly things can change, you know, this bad race for Kevin Harvick cost him 100-some points in his lead over Jeff Gordon. When you think about David Rudiman with 96 points to go to get in the chase, things can and will change as the race for the chase continues. We also want to remind you we still have lots of great racing coming up Friday. The world's toughest trucks battle under the arch in St. Louis, a track known for fueling rivalries, and Mike Skinner pulled off a huge win there last time we were there. Don't miss the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series live from Gateway Friday at 8:30 Eastern, only on Speed. Hey race fans, Sunoco's Free Fuel 5000 is back. Just get your Sunoco decal, put it on your car, get spotted and win. We've got spotters visiting every participating Sunoco, and if we see you with it while you're filling up, you win thousands of instant prizes and a shot at the grand prize, 5,000 gallons of Sunoco fuel. For more information, go to GoSunoco.com. Now for Carl Edwards, it's been a long time outside of victory lane, but when a team is used to winning and you've been struggling for a long time, sometimes a second place finish can be just as good. Let's go to Bob Dillner.
Jack Roush with a big congratulations for Carl Edwards on a dynamite run. And it was funny, I was just talking to Randy Fuller, Carl Edwards' PR guy, and I said, man, it's good to see you up here. And Carl Edwards, Jason Hedleski, the spotter here, everybody congratulating you. It's almost like a victory after how tough this season has been.
Almost like a victory. The deal is we had the fastest car at the end of the race. That's a victory for us. A couple more laps, and I think I would have had something for David, but as it was, he had the best car, and he did a really good job. I watched him up there battling with Jeff, and man, he's such a good guy. You know, I can only imagine how happy he is right now, so that's cool for him.
What's the difference, Carl? Because it looked like the Carl of old in that 99 tonight.
Yeah, the car is just good. I got to thank my guys, Bob, everybody at the shop, you know, everybody for working so hard and not giving up. And I mean, that's one race, that's one good car, but that's one more than we've had in a long, long time. So just proud of my guys, and hopefully we can build on this. That'd be the key.
Hey, 10th in points, 7 to go.
Hey, that's good. The points are good. Yeah, I was really down and out about not winning it, but that makes me feel a little better. So we'll go on. We'll try to win the next one.
Carl Edwards back in the top 5. Guys, only his second top 5 this year.
Yeah, and Bob, that team, although they're up on points right now, it's been a long time since they've had a victory. The whole Roush Fenway organization, you got to go back to the beginning of last year when Matt Kenseth rattled off 2 in a row. Remember, he won the Daytona 500, went out to California, but after that, it's been a Roush Fenway drought.
It really has, JR. And you talked to Jack Roush. I had an opportunity to talk to Carl Edwards before qualifying the other day, and he was walking around. He was beaming then because he said, Jeff, can you believe it? This is the first weekend that we've been able to unload, be fast, work on this race car, and I can feel the adjustments. He was excited because he had a race car that was doing what he wanted it to do, and that is when he felt something, they were able to make the right adjustments. I think Bob Osborne and everybody there at Roush Fenway, this is what they've been looking for, just a little bit of a glimpse of hope that maybe they're trying to turn the edge on getting these cars back to where these guys can drive them. They got great drivers over there. They know if they can get everything working like they need to, they can get back to victory lane, and they came so very close tonight. This is what you got to watch out for. I think if they ever get going again, they'll be back on a roll, and you'll see him run off several wins, or his teammates run off several wins.
And what I was really impressed with tonight is when a team starts running better, you go, oh, well, he's a great driver. But looky here, race fans. Second was the 99 Carl Edwards. 10th spot was Paul Menard, and 12th was David Ragan. How about that? That's really good. 2 drivers that have not gone to victory lane yet, but whatever they're doing over there at Roush, we've been hearing this week, we got this new front end. Who knows what it is? A-frames, geometry, something like that. But they're showing up, and not just the drivers that are superstars. So congratulations to Paul Menard and David Ragan, 10th and 12th.
And Jeff, Greg Biffle was running great, man. He was top 5 pretty much all evening long until he had mechanical failure.
Yeah, and again, you know, we talk about that. You know, sometimes you can't control that. These new engines they're working with, they've had some issues with it. They thought they had, kind of like gotten on top of it after Casey Kane had his issues from Loudon, but clearly they had another valve train problem tonight. And I'm sure that, Doug Yates, Jack Roush, and everybody at Roush Fenway, they'll go to work. They'll come up with the proper solution because we got a big race coming up in a couple of weeks at Indianapolis, and they'll have their package together like it needs to be with the right amount of horsepower, because that's one of those places, JR, you've got to have a big horse under the hood if you want to be able to win at the Brickyard.
Yeah, exactly, and also that's a very rare engine failure for Roush Fenway Racing. You don't see that very often for those Fords, but it cost Biff in a big way tonight. Want to remind you that tomorrow night, don't miss a full hour of NASCAR Race Hub presented by Hooters. That's tomorrow night at 7 Eastern, only on Speed. This week's lineup is strong. An exclusive Camping World Truck Series driver announcement is coming your way on Monday, involving one of the biggest names in racing, so you want to join us for that. Now, when we come back, we will talk to a guy who came close to a win and is suffering a long winless drought. Jeff Gordon talks to us next on NASCAR Victory Lane.
NASCAR Victory Lane is fueled by Sunoco, the official fuel of NASCAR. Put the fuel of NASCAR in your car. And brought to you in part by Goof Off, the miracle remover. Goof Off gets out the tough stuff ordinary cleaners can't.
Welcome back, everyone, to NASCAR Victory Lane, fueled by Sunoco. It has now been 48 races since Jeff Gordon's last victory in the Sprint Cup Series, and although that's the longest winless streak of his career, he's still rattling off top 5 finishes and finds himself second in points. Let's go back to Bob Dillner.
5th top 5 in a row for this guy. I know you wanted to win. Looks so good late. What happened at the end of the race, Jeff?
Well, you know, we're just trying to make some adjustments to get better. We knew we were really a second-place car to David Rudeman. Those guys did a heck of a job, and congratulations to him. I know how much this means to him and that team, but, you know, we were good, but we weren't great. And we got the lead, got the track position, and those guys still ran us down. So we were trying to just make some adjustments to get ahead of them, you know, to do something better. They had a solid pit stop. We had a solid pit stop. All night we really did. And, you know, fell back a little bit.
I know you want the win, but how you guys are running right now as we're approaching the chase has got to put you in an optimistic state of mind.
Well, top 5s like this are very important once you get in the chase, but starting, you know, 50 points down is not a good thing. So, you know, we got to get some wins. We got to get those bonus points, get ourselves seated, you know, in a good position when the chase starts. That's why we're fighting as hard as we are, you know, for these wins. Tonight was a heck of a battle from the entire team, and I'm proud of them. Came up short, and now we'll take a week off, think about it, and go to the next one.
And now only 103 points out of the lead.
And Bob, you know, if a driver the caliber of Jeff Gordon continues to be there week in and week out, he is eventually going to win one. And a couple weeks from now, we're going to one of his best racetracks.
But the thing is, JR, were you listening to what he said? We were good. We weren't great. And that's what's going on, I think, in our sport. You've got to be great to be able to win these races. And, I mean, Jeff Gordon, I know, is frustrated right now because he's had good race cars. He's been so close, and tonight was another, you know, one of those we keep talking about. It could have been a win that turned out to be, you know, just another top 5 finish. So this team, hopefully during this week off, they'll be able to work on that little bit, that little extra that they need to either get the car tuned up, to get the engine tuned up, to get the pit crew tuned up, whatever it is. They're so close, folks, to getting this guy to the victory lane. I think once they do, it will help his mental attitude, and it will make it dangerous for a lot of other people as far as that chase is concerned.
The great Dale Earnhardt said something I'll never forget. He says, you just keep giving me those top 5s, Herm. I was complaining because I was running 3rd and 4th. He says, you just keep giving me those top 5s. And by God, Jeff Gordon keeps giving us those top 5s. He doesn't win here lately, but I'm going to tell you what, that will put him in position to be a champion.
And you know what I think has got to be in the back of his mind was the year that he averaged a top 5 finish and still could not beat Jimmy Johnson for the championship because Jimmy was winning.
Well, and I think he knows that. Deep down in his heart, he knows they've got to get to victory lane. He knows how to finish in the top 5. I mean, that's not no problem so far for he or Steve Letarte. Getting to victory lane is what their main focus has got to be, starting at Indianapolis.
So after a well-deserved weekend off for everybody involved in NASCAR Sprint Cup competition, little family fair going on there. That's fun. That is great to see. And also you're going to want to hang around with us in just a matter of a minute or so. Wind Tunnel is going to be here with Dave Despain, co-host Chad Knaus, and Darrell Waltrip as well. Now let's take a look back at some of the fun we had along the way.
Welcome to Chicago.
something. I mean, you know, he went 4 times.
And you're supposed to throw it to me, Daryl.
Oh, go ahead, Kenny. Oh, Kenny, what happened?
Well, hello, my friends.
Oh.
My name's Ken Wallace.
I know I did wreck.
Heck, he only lost 7 teeth in the Stanley Cup Finals. But anyway.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
David Ruderman wins at Chicago.